Hello, students. Welcome to lecture number 8 of Company Law in the CA Foundation lecture series, sponsored by Sri Jayendra Rankzone, and I'm your mentor, Shekhar Gehlot. Okay, so till now we have discussed a lot of different things about the companies, type of companies, and how to incorporate a company recently in the previous slide we discussed. So now, in the continuation of the incorporation of the companies, this is we'll discuss something about simplified pro forma for incorporating company electronically. This is called SPICE. SPICE is the short form for this, simplified pro forma for incorporating company electronically. As the time has advanced, and we are living in a internet age. Okay, we are living in an internet age. So this is just a kind of this is just a kind of facility provided by the government of India, wherein people can get the company incorporated just by sitting in their homes only, and they have to fulfill all the documents and supply them online through this filing this spice form. Okay, and the company shall be registered. The Ministry of Corporate Affairs has taken various initiatives for ease of business. In a step towards easy setting up of business, MCA has simplified the process of filing of forms for incorporation of a company through simplified performa for incorporating company electronically. That means you can electronically incorporate a company. You need not pay regular visits to the physically visit to the office of the registrar of companies. Okay, now we have understood about the process of registration. Okay, registration or incorporation of a company. They are both synonymous. Registration, when a company is registered, it becomes an incorporated company. So they are both synonyms to each other, and these both events happen simultaneously, one after another, in the life of a company. Now, what are the effects of the registration of the company? Now, we have understood how to get a company registered, but what will happen once a company comes into picture or is finally registered? Section 9 of the Companies Act 2013 provides for the effect of registration of a company. Okay, now Section 9 deals with the effects of the registration of the company. According to Section 9, from the date of incorporation mentioned in the Certificate of Incorporation, we discussed that registrar will issue a Certificate of Incorporation and it shall mention a date that this company got incorporated on this date. Okay, according to Section 9, from the date of incorporation, the subscribers to the memorandum, the original subscribers, 7 in the case of public, 2 in the case of private, and all other persons who may from time to time become members of the company, people who may become members of the company later on, okay, new members, shall be a body corporate by the name contained in the memorandum. Okay, now they all people who are the original subscribers as well as the new subscribers, they all together shall form a body corporate. Body corporate means separate legal entity. Okay, body corporate means these all people will form a body corporate which will be a separate legal entity from all these people collected all together. Such a registered company shall be capable of exercising all functions of an incorporated company under this act and having perpetual succession. Now, once incorporation is done, company will get acquire all the functions of a regularly incorporated company. And what are the features we have already discussed? Company shall have a perpetual succession with power to acquire, hold, and dispose of the property, both movable and immovable, tangible and intangible. I hope you all know the difference between tangible and intangible property. Tangible property is which is a physical property which we can see, touch, or sense through our any of the smell, any of our senses. But intangible properties like copyright, a bookmark, or a trademark, or a patent, or a patent etc which cannot which does not exist in the physical form. It can also be a share. Okay, a share is a intangible property because we cannot see, touch, or feel the shares. To contract and to sue and be sued by the said name, whatever name company has taken, it can enter into contracts, it can sue, and it can be sued even under its own name. From the date of incorporation mentioned in the certificate, the company becomes a legal person separate from the incorporators, and there comes into existence a binding contract between the company and its members as evidenced by the memorandum and articles of association. Okay, there is a binding contract between the company and the members. Okay, what is that binding contract? That they shall be separate from the company, they shall not claim the company as their own, they shall not claim the ownership of the company, they are only members. Okay, tomorrow they cannot claim that we are the owners of the company. Why? Because company is now having a separate identity, and that is evidenced by the memorandum and articles of association these people have entered with the company. It has a perpetual existence until it is dissolved by liquidation or struck out of the register. Striking out of the register in the case of Section 8 company, like we discussed, government can do so. A shareholder who buys shares does not buy any interest in the property of the company, but in certain cases, a writ petition will be maintainable by company or its shareholders. This is somehow advanced, not required for your course, so we may happily delete this particular and retain it till here only. Okay, a shareholder who buys share does not buy any interest in the property of the company. We have already discussed a shareholder has no interest in the property of the company, he has interest into the company as a whole, but not in the property. Okay, the business of the company is having interest in that only. A legal personality emerges from the moment of registration of a company, and from that moment, the persons subscribing to the memorandum of association and other persons joining as members are regarded as a body corporate or a corporation in aggregate, and the legal person begins to function as an entity. A company on registration acquires a separate existence, and the law recognizes it as a legal person separate and distinct from its members. They are again talking about separately legal personality we have already discussed in detail. It may be noted that under the provisions of the Act, a company may purchase shares of another company and thus become a controlling company. A company, usually this is very usual, companies keep on purchasing the shares of some other company. However, merely because a company purchases all shares of another company, it will not serve as a means of putting an end to the corporate character of another company and each company's separate juristic entity. This was held in the case of Spencer and Company Limited versus Madras. Okay, Spencer and Company Limited Madras versus CWT Madras. What happened in this case? One company purchased. Okay, company A purchased 100% shares of another company, company B. Now there existed some dispute, and then there was a demand that now this company B should not exist at all. Okay, this company B should not exist at all, and this company B should be merged, should be merged in should be merged in company A. Why? Because company A has purchased 100% shares of the company B. Now, what is left for the existence of company B? Okay, company B should also become company A. It should be merged with company A. But court held no, they both have a separate juristic character. They both are still separate companies. Though A may have purchased 100% shares of the company B, but still company B is a independent legal entity and it shall continue to remain so. It will not be subsumed in company A automatically unless there is actually a merger. Even after purchasing 100% shares, this company will retain its independent identity as an original company. As has been stated above, the law recognizes such a company as a juristic person separate and distinct from its members. The mere fact that the entire share capital has been contributed by the central government and all its shares are held by the President of India and other officers of the central government does not make any difference in the positions of a registered company. And it does not make a company an agent either of the President or the central government. Company can never be an agent. Okay, first of all, we have to be very clear of this. Company can never be an agent of its members, okay, nor members are agents of the company. Okay, so there is no agency, no agency exists between company and members. Okay, agency means acting as an agent for each other, like it happens in the partnership. In partnership, one partner is the agent of partnership, and all other partners as well. Okay, they are all agents of each other. But this is not happening in the case of company here. Though all the shareholding, 100% shares are held by the President of India or his subordinate officers. Still, the company will not become an agent of the President of India, or the President of India will not become the agent of the company. They both will still retain their separate legal entity. President is president and the company is a company. Okay, company will not become president itself. This was held in Heavy Electrical Union versus State of Bihar. Classification of capital. Now we'll read about capital. Okay, capital is something very much important in incorporation of a company. We have seen there are so many requirements about no minimum capital required. Okay, now it is a no minimum capital required. Earlier there used to be minimum capital slabs, but still capital cannot be zero as we have discussed. The term capital has a variety of meanings. It has a variety of meanings. It may mean different in different uses. Okay, it means one thing to economists, another to accountants, and still another to businessmen and lawyers. In relation to a company limited by shares, the word capital means share capital. Okay, now in relation to a company limited by shares, the word capital means share capital. The capital, now that is the capital or figure in terms of so many rupees divided into shares of fixed amount. In other words, the contributions of the persons to the common stock of the company from the form the capital of the company. Okay, contribution by the people into the common stock, like they are saying in this particular situation here, like 1 crore rupees. Sorry, once tens, 100,000, 10,000, lakh, 10 lakh, 1 crore rupees divided by 10 rupees share each. Okay, now how many shares are there? Then there are 10 lakh shares. 10 lakh shares of 10 rupees each. Okay, so this is the share capital of the company. What is the share capital of the company? 10 crore, 1 crore rupees. And how this 1 crore rupees is divided? 10 lakh shares of 10 rupees each. Okay, The proportion of the capital to which each member is entitled is his share. Now, whatever proportion one member is having, it is his share. Ram is having 5 lakh shares. Okay, so his share is 50% now. This is Ram's independent share. A share is not a sum of money, it is rather an interest measured by a sum of money and made up of various rights contained in the contract. Okay, a share itself is not a sum of money. See now the again the we go back to this particular argument there where they say the term capital has a variety of meanings. It means one thing to economist, another thing to accountant, and still another to businessman and lawyers. Okay, so now they are saying a share is not a sum of money. Okay, this is what it means to the Companies Act. But you know, in a layman's term, share is money. Okay, whatever share you are holding, that is money only. Okay, but Companies Act says share is not a sum of money. That is the definition which fits best for the Companies Act. Okay, so in Companies Act perspective, a share is not a sum of money. It is rather an interest measured by a sum of money. It is rather an interest measured by a sum of money. Coming back to this example, share is not share is not 5 lakh. Share is not, if he is having 5 lakh share, that means 50 lakh. Share is not 50 lakh rupees. It is his 50%. It is his 50% interest in the company, which equals to 5 lakh rupees, 50 lakh rupees. Okay, either you, this is, they are saying that share is not a sum of money. His share is not 50 lakh rupees. We cannot say this Ram share in the company is 50 lakh rupees. Okay, Ram's share in the company is 50 lakh rupees because he has 5 lakh shares of 10 rupees each. Ram's share in this company is 50 lakh rupees. No, we will say Ram's share in the company is 50%. He has 50% share in the company. His interest is 50% in the company. And now if we take the market value of this 50%, it will come out to be 50 lakh rupees and made up of sum of money and made up of various rights contained in the contract. Okay, and this interest, this 50% share also has a lot of rights contained in the contract because now he has a great voting power. So a share is a compendium term. It is not merely 50 lakh rupees. It is 50% share with so many rights as well and the market value as 50 lakh. In the domain of company law, the term capital is used in the following senses. Now, in what sense is the term capital has been used in the domain of company law? We'll understand it. Nominal or authorized or registered capital. Now, nominal capital or authorized capital or registered capital both mean the same. Let us read what is nominal, authorized, or registered capital. This form of capital has been defined in Section 2, Subclause 8 of the Companies Act 2013. Authorized capital or nominal capital means such capital as is authorized. It means such capital as is authorized by the memorandum of company to be the maximum amount of share capital. Okay, of the company. Thus, it is the sum stated in the memorandum as the capital of the company with which it will be registered being the maximum amount which it is authorized to raise by issue shares and upon which it pays the stamp duty. It is usually fixed at the amount which it is estimated the company will need, including the working capital and reserve capital if any. So share capital, authorized share capital is, suppose I set up ABC Limited. So when I set up this company, now we have discussed I'll have to file MOA. MOA is Memorandum of Association with the Registrar of Companies. Now in this Memorandum of Association, I'll have to specify, or okay, a promoter will have to specify the authorized share capital. Authorized share capital, or we may call it nominal share capital, or we may call it a registered share capital. I say that my ABCL Limited, I feel that in my estimate my ABCL Limited will in order to complete all of its objects forever in the life may require 5,000 crore rupees. Okay, this is the authorized capital. This means my company can raise five up to 5,000 crore rupees from the people. It may raise it at one go, okay, or at different intervals, and these intervals may be within some months or within some years or within some decades. It may be like year in year 2000, then 2007, then 2014, and so on till the time this 5,000 crore rupees limit is reached. Okay, when this 5,000 crore rupees is exhausted, company cannot raise any more capital other than this. Okay, why? Because this is the authorized share capital. That means company is authorized to raise this much share capital. Maximum share capital is 5,000 crore, which company can raise from the public in the whole lifetime, and in the whole lifetime it may do so in one go or it may do so in installments. Okay, and now tomorrow suppose the company requires more capital than authorized share capital. Okay, now company needs 7,000 crore rupees. Okay, but the authorized share capital is only 5,000 rupees, 5,000 crore. Now what to do with this deficit of 2,000 crore? Now company will, okay, now company will bring an amendment in the memorandum of association and increase it to 7,000 crore rupees. Okay, so the company will have to follow an amendment route in the memorandum of association tomorrow if it wants to raise more than 5,000 crore rupees of the share capital from public. Issued share capital. Okay, section 2 subclause 50 of the Companies Act 2013 defines issued capital, which means such capital as the company issues from time to time for subscription. It is that part, okay, which let's break the application. Issued capital, which means such capital as the company issues, such capital as company issues from time to time. First of all, from time to time. It is that part of authorized capital which is offered by the company for subscription and includes the shares allotted for consideration other than cash. Okay, so now let's go back to this earlier example only. Company's authorized capital is 5,000 crore rupees. Now I told you that company can raise it in the installments as well. So suppose company in year 2000 in year 2000 raised 500 crore from public. Okay, so in this case authorized capital of company is 5,000 crore, and out of this authorized capital, how much is the issued capital? How much capital has already been issued by the company? That means how much shares have already been sold by the companies. Okay, share, so company has sold the share of the equivalent to the amount of 500 rupees, 500 crore. So issued share capital now is 500 cr. You got it? This is authorized is the total maximum number it can raise. Issued is till today whatever amount it has raised from the public, that is issued share capital. Okay, it is that part of authorized capital which is offered by the company for subscription and includes the shares allotted for consideration other than cash. Company can have so many ways of selling a share other than the cash as well. Okay, by pledging the property or so many other ways. Schedule 3 of the Companies Act 2013 makes it obligatory for a company to disclose its issued capital in the balance sheet. So, in balance sheet, a company is bound to disclose its issued capital so that at every interval, shareholders or the members of the company have a knowledge that how much share capital has been already issued by the company. That means how much money has already been raised by the company and how much it has already spent, so that there is transparency between the board of directors and the small members who are members of only 1 share, 2 3 share, or 5 10 50 100 shares only, small members, so that even they have a information about the company. Subscribed capital. Section 286 of the Companies Act 2013 defines subscribed capital as such part of the capital which is for the time being subscribed by the members of the company. Okay. Okay, subscribed by the members of the company, which was initially subscribed by the members of the company. Okay, when the
It's 2
company
o'clock.
came into being. It is the nominal amount of shares taken up by the public, where any notice, advertisement, or other official communication, or any business letter, bill head, or letter paper of the company states the authorized capital, the subscribed, and the paid up capital must also be stated in equally conspicuous letters. A default in this regard will make the company and every officer who is in default liable to pay the extending. Okay, the penalty will be there if it says that whenever company issues any letterhead, so on that letterhead all these kinds of capitals will have to be specified by the company: authorized share capital, subscribed capital, and the issued paid up capital, it shall be specified by the company. Called up capital. Section 2, subclause 15 of the Companies Act 2013 defines called up capital as such part of the capital which has been called up for payment. It is total amount called upon the shares issued. Now we discussed the concept earlier called partly paid up shares. When we discussed the example of Tata DVR. Now one share costs rupees 1000. Example, okay. Ram buys one share. Okay, but company asks only 200 rupees today and says pay 800 later on. Okay, pay 800 later on. This arrangement is also available and it happens a lot of times. So this 800 later on, when the company will call up, usually what company will do, called up means company will call up, literally it means company would telephonically call the person and ask him to pay this 800 rupees. That is called the called up capital. That means, okay. Paid up capital is the total amount paid or credited as paid up shares issued. It is equal to called up capitals less calls in areas. Okay. Now, paid up capital is fully paid up capital. Okay. Sorry, paid up capital is whatever amount has been paid till now. Okay. So, company says issued capital is 500 crore. Okay, issued capital is 500 crore. That means company has already sold shares worth rupees 500 crore rupees. Okay, but like in this example, some shares maybe say 200 crore rupees are yet to be received. Okay, when the company issued these 500 crore rupees shares, company said to the people that you pay me 300 crore rupees today and 200 crore rupees I'll collect to you from some other time whenever need will arise to me. So this is the issued capital and this is the paid up capital is 300 crore. Okay, whatever amount company has actually received today, that becomes the paid up capital. Now, what are shares? This is very relevant, okay, from the exam point of view and for a better understanding of the simple uh, of the concept, basic concepts of the company law, as well as for practical life as well. So when we want to understand something, okay, like what are shares, when we want to understand something, the best way to understand that particular thing is to know the nature of that thing, okay. Like if we want to know about the lion, then we'll know the nature of the lion. What is the nature of the lion? Lion is an animal, okay, he has four limbs, he is a carnivorous, okay. So now let us understand the nature of shares. What is the nature of shares? Section 2, subclause 84 of the Companies Act 2013 defines the term share, which means a share in the share capital of a company. Okay, share means a share in the share capital of company and includes a stock. Okay, stock means collection of so many other shares. A share thus represents such proportion of interest of shareholders. A share thus represents such proportion of interest of shareholders. Now, what does share represents? Proportion of interest of shareholders as the amount paid up thereon bears to the total capital payable to the company. It is a measure of the interest in the company's assets to which a person holding a share is entitled. Okay, share represents the proportion of interest in the of the shareholders. Okay, what is the interest? Like we discussed, that what is the interest he has right now. Let's go back to this example. One share cost rupees 1000. Ram buys one share. Okay, Ram has bought one share. Okay, company has taken only 200 rupees. He has to pay 800 rupees later on. So what is his interest? His interest is 1/5 share. That is his proportion. His proportion is whatever amount he has totally paid today. Okay, whatever amount he has paid, that is proportionate to the his interest in the shares. Okay, he will pay 800 later today or tomorrow, but only when he'll pay these 800 tomorrow, then only his share will become complete. Today he has paid only 200 rupees, so his share is proportion of his share is 1/5 share. Okay, this is what they are trying to say. It is a measure of interest in the company's assets to which a person holding a share is entitled. Okay, it's also a measure to know how much interest one person is having in the assets of the companies. Okay, people are having, as per the shareholding pattern, someone is having 2% shares of the company, 17%, like we discussed the case of Cyrus Smith, the largest shareholder in the Tata Group. He holds 17% shares, which is worth rupees 2 lakh crore. So it is like this. So, simplified terms, what is the nature of shares? How much interest a person is having in the company. Okay, that's it. In a plain, simple manner, what are shares? That is it. A yardstick to measure the interest of shareholder in the assets of the company. That is nature of the shares in simple plain languages. Share is an interest in the company. Now, the Justice Farewell in Borland Trustees versus Steel Bars and Company Limited. What does this justice observed? That a share is not a sum of money, but it is an interest measured by a sum of money and made up of various rights contained in the contract. This has now become the part of our definition. In this statement, we have already done. Okay, we have done this statement. I am now forgetting the page number, so I won't waste much time in going back to the page again. Observe that a share is not a sum of money but is an interest measured by a sum of money and measured by a sum of money and made up of various rights contained in the contract, including the right to a sum of money of more or less amount. You should note that the shareholders are not, in the eyes of law, part owners of the undertaking. Okay, we are never owners of the company. We should be very clear about it. A shareholder is merely a member. Okay, he is merely a member or decision maker for the company. He is never the owner of the company. If he becomes the owner of the company, his liability will become unlimited. Okay, the undertaking is somewhat different from the totality of the shareholders. The rights and obligations attaching to a share are those prescribed by the memorandum and articles of the company. It must, however, be remembered that a shareholder has not only contractual rights against the company but also certain other rights which accrue to him according to the provisions of the Companies Act. Okay, so usually what rights do a shareholder has against the company or with the company, that is specified in the memorandum and articles of association, memorandum and articles. But other than these memorandum and articles, he may also have some other rights which are provided to him by the Companies Act. Okay, so he can have different kinds of rights. Some rights are provided by memorandum, some by articles, and some by the provisions of the Companies Act. Okay, and some share is not money, but share is the interest which can be measured in terms of money. Simply stating. So the second point about share is an interest in the company. Third point is shares are a movable property. Okay. According to section 44 of the Companies Act 2013, the share or debentures or other interest in any member in a company shall be movable property transferable in the manner provided in the articles of the company. Okay. So what is a movable property? Which can move freely, or the simple definition of movable property is, as per the law, what is a movable property? Things not attached to land. Okay, so definitely shares are not attached to land, so they become a movable property. Shares shall be numbered. Okay, this is another feature. It says shares shall be numbered. Shares shall be numbered. Every share should have a number over it, just like the, it is like the Aadhaar card of share. Aadhaar card of share. However, this shall not apply to a share held by a person whose name is entered as holder of beneficial interest in such share in the records of a depository. Okay, this shall not apply. Shares will not possess these characteristics when these shares are held only as a beneficial interest. Okay, only as a beneficial interest that I have. Suppose like the case of minor. Okay, minor will have only benefits in the company. Okay, so he'll not have different shares to his name. Kinds of share capital. Okay, because beneficiary is not the owner. Okay, beneficiary is not the owner. He is only having an interest in the shares, only having an interest in the shares. Okay, holder of beneficiary interest. Let's have an example for a good understanding of this thing. Suppose Ram has 100 shares. Okay, now he pledges these shares with ICICI Bank and takes up loan. Okay, you understand the pledging. Pledging means you you keep things with other person, just like we see in the movies or the Muthoot Finance. You take your gold, you put the gold in the Muthoot Finance's locker, you give the gold to the Muthoot Finance person, and he'll pay you some money. And if you're not able to pay back the money, he'll keep the gold. So similarly, you can pledge your shares as well. That means you can keep your shares with the bank and you can take loan on those shares. So Ram has 100 shares. Ram pledges these shares with the ICICI Bank and takes up loan. Now, meanwhile, till the time Ram has not repaid the loans, ICICI Bank is only a beneficial interest holder. Okay, ICICI Bank has a benefit in the shares. Okay, tomorrow if the shares price goes up or some dividend is declared, ICICI will take it up if he is not able to pay it back. Okay, so till the time he does not become the owner, or till the time Ram does not discharges his liability, Ram will be owner, ICICI Bank will be the beneficial interest holder. Okay, kinds of share capital. Now, what kinds of share capital we have? Section 43 of the Companies Act 2013 provides the kinds of share capital. According to the provisions, the share capital of a company limited by shares shall be of two kinds. Now, which company we are discussing? We are discussing the share capital of a company limited by shares. Okay, equity share capital, and other is preferential share capital. So, company limited by shares will have two kinds of shares. First is equity share capital. Equity means the right to vote. Like we citizens are the equity partners in the India. We are the equity partners of India. We have right to vote in the administration of India. According to the explanation to section 43, equity share capital with reference to any company limited by shares means all share capital which is not preference share capital. Okay. Simple definition they have given is equity share capital is which is not preferential share capital, and preferential share capital is which is not equity share capital. Okay. So what is basically equity share capital is it has voting rights. Okay, it has voting rights. Equity share is which gives you voting rights, like I discussed, right to vote, plus with differential rights as to, or with differential rights as to dividend, voting or otherwise in accordance with the prescribed rules. Okay, or it may have some other rights. Okay, equity share capital can be of two types, with voting rights, with simple voting rights. Okay, with some other differential rights, some preferable rights are given to you, that you will get some extra dividend. Okay, but definitely voting right has to be there. Voting right cannot be taken away. Okay, voting right cannot be taken away when we talk about the equity shares. That means you have a right to vote. Now we'll understand this thing with an example. Okay, now you understand this clause A with voting right. Okay, like I have purchased one share, Ram has one share, he has one vote. Okay, Ram has one share, he has one vote. That is simple, this thing. Now what is this thing? We'll read. It is to be noted that Tata Motors in 2008 introduced equity shares with differential voting rights called A equity share in its rights issue. Okay, A listed. They are calling them A listed equity shares in its rights issue. In the issue, every 10 A equity shares carried only one voting right. Okay. Now, what is happening in this? In this category, Tata Motors issued a share known as Tata DVR. Okay. Here, people are getting high dividend over the share, but voting value is 1/10. That means one vote for 10 shares. Okay, one vote for 10 shares. One vote for 10 shares. Here, what is having in earlier case, Ram is having one share, he is having one vote. But here, there is some arrangement in which you are getting high dividends, but your voting rights is restricted for, limited for one vote for 10 shares. Okay, so but you are still having a voting right, maybe 1/10. Okay, but you cannot call it zero. Then this share will not be a equity share. Okay, it will become some other share. It will become preferential share. Since a equity share did not carry the similar voting rights, it was being traded at discount to other common shares having full voting. Other companies which have issued equity shares with differential voting rights, popularly called DVRs, these shares are called differential voting rights, DVRs. Now you understand what is Tata DVR, Tata Differential Voting Right, are Future Retail, Jan Irrigation, among others. Preference share capital. What is preference share capital? They are also called preferential shares. Preference means you will get priority. Preference literally means priority. So this is a priority share. That means you will get priority over equity share holders. Okay, what kind of priority? You will have guaranteed dividend. Okay, dividend may not be distributed to the equity shareholders, but it will be definitely distributed to you, priority shareholders or preferential shareholders. Okay, and at time of liquidation will get share interest before equity shareholders. Okay, so when the company is going for the liquidation, whatever is left is distributed into the company members. So first the distribution will be done to the preferential share capital holders, then whatever will be left will be further divided between the equity shareholders. Okay, that's why they are called preferential shareholders, because they have a priority in liquidation of the company as well as priority in the getting dividend of the company. Now, preferential share capital with reference to any company limited by shares means that part of the issued share capital of company which carries over would carry a preferential right with respect to. But one thing, preferential shareholders do not have a voting right. In ordinary circumstances, they don't have a voting right, but only when company fails to pay Okay, they usually do not have a voting right. Equity shareholders are the sole voting right owners, but they will get the voting right in case the company fails to pay dividend, fails to issue dividend for the 2 consecutive years. Okay, because if they do not get the voting right even after 2 years, then the whole purpose of the preferential share capital is defeated. They have taken preferential share and they are foregoing their equity, their voting rights. Why? Because they think that they will get the dividend, but the company is now not even issuing the dividend, so they should now they have at least their voting rights back. Payment of dividend either as a fixed amount. Now they, what do they get as the payment? Either as a fixed amount or amount calculated at a fixed rate, which may either be free or subject to income tax. Repayment in case of winding up, or repayment of capital of the amount of the share paid capital paid up deemed to have been paid up whether or not there is a preferential right to the payment of any fixed premium on a fixed scale specified in the memorandum of articles of the company. Okay, so this is what they are saying, is that they will get a dividend plus they will get a preferential treatment when the company is going for the winding up. Okay, further, capital shall be deemed to be, okay, let's repayment in the case of winding up, or repayment of capital, repayment of capital only. Okay, of the amount of share capital paid up or deemed to have been paid up whether or not. Okay, so they'll get back whatever amount they had paid up for purchasing these shares at the time of winding up, but subject to if the company has money. If the company does not have money, definitely they will not get back anything. Okay, if they have money. If the company has money, company will pay them back whatever amount they had paid to the company at the time of purchase of shares. Suppose they purchased one share for 1,000 rupees, and today company share is at 100 rupees. Company share is 10 times down. Company at the time of winding up will pay them 1,000 rupees only. 1,000 rupees only. Company will not pay 100 rupees. Companies will have to pay 1,000 rupees only, but only if company has money left. And at the time of winding up, usually company has no money left, so this thing usually does not come into picture. They usually get paid very less only. Okay. Further, capital shall be deemed to be preference capital, despite that it is entitled to either or both of the following rights, namely. Okay, now they are giving further clarification that capital shall be deemed to be a preferential capital. That means a share shall be deemed to be capital share, despite, even after that, it is entitled to both or following rights. Even after having any of these rights or both of these rights, still a preferential share will remain a preferential share. It will not become a voting equity share. Okay, what are these two conditions? That in respect of dividends, in addition to the preferential rights to the amount specified as above, it has a right to participate, whether fully or to a limited extent, with capital not entitled to preferential right aforesaid. Okay, so sometimes along with the right to dividend, a shareholder may be given a right to participate as well. Okay, in fully or limited manner, still it will be a preferential share capital if dividend is assured and fixed. Okay, that in respect of capital, in addition to the preferential right to the repayment on winding up of the amount specified above, it has a right to participate, whether fully or limited extent, with capital or not entitled to that preferential right, in any surplus which may remain after the entire capital has been repaid. Okay, so now suppose tomorrow you give him a right that tomorrow if any surplus is left after winding up, okay, at winding up company has to pay back money to the members. So now company has paid back everything and still some extra money is left with the company. So they, company says, will give you right to take part in that or to get a piece of that surplus amount. Still, even if you are getting a surplus amount, you may or you may not get a surplus amount, but if you have a preferential right at the repayment on winding up, you will remain a preferential share. You cannot exercise a voting right. Clear? This is a preferential share. Okay, now next slide we'll do the memorandum of association and the articles of association. We close this slide here only.